pile up. The fear in your ear gonna get louder. It could come from you or other people. People start acting strange. I know they weren't gonna do it, or you know how it go. The motivation fades. How you started, now you done ran out of energy because it's the end of the test or end of the period where you about to take this big test to get to the next level. The opportunities will feel delayed. Now, the people who are used to opportunities being delayed know that the opportunities may be delayed, but guess what? They are not denied. They just delayed. So don't get caught up in your delay thinking that this is a denial. This is just preparing you for the next level. A lot of people think they might be losing when they're going through this testing period. But the pressure that you're feeling right now, that means you are next in line. Don't you ever forget it. That's all that pressure means, guys. It means you are next in line. And a lot of people feel the pressure building up because they know that the things that they was carrying in the past, the baggage you was carrying in the past, the breakdowns and the struggles and the testimonies that you had in the past, and the things that you were going through in your old life when you headed to your new life, it can't fit in your new life. That old life cannot be contained where you are headed. You got to make room. So you're going to lose a couple things. You might lose a couple friends. You might even lose a couple family members. You might even lose a couple dollars. But as long as you don't lose your dream, as long as you don't lose that ambition, that fight, that heart, guess what? You still next in line. And guess what? I ain't losing my spot for nobody. I ain't losing my spot for you, or you. I'm going to stay right here because I know that just because I'm delayed, guess what? I'm not denied. I'm not denied. We just talking about the signs that you are next, how people get tricked out of their spot, why being consistent during this time and during the chaos really matters. And most people, because this conversation ain't for most people. This conversation is for the people who going through chaos, but they know that they got a winning ticket. They next in line, and they not giving up. Even though it's hard as hell, they like, you know what, I want to quit. I'm crying. I'm about to give up, but you don't. I've been there, done that, through the chaos, through the homelessness, through the brokenness, through the poverty. You still need consistency. We got to talk about how not to quit when you're going through these transition seasons, because these will be some of the hardest seasons you ever going to have to go through on your way up. Because a lot of us are just one decision away from a completely different life. We just one decision away. So this message is for somebody out there to not get tricked out their spot. Is this for you? Don't get tricked out your spot. So let's talk about why people quit too early. Let's talk about the signs why people will fold right before they get to their breakthrough. The first thing is comparing yourself constantly to other people. We on this internet, we strolling. You see some people it's happening for them. You see some people, they got the legacy. You see some people got the parents help. You see a lot of people got things you might not have. That's one reason why you might fall if you start comparing yourself to other people. When I was on the road to hood, I didn't have a mom. I didn't have the father in the house supporting me. I didn't have the normal things. I had the stereotypes. I had the obstacles. But that's no excuse. Those aren't excuses. It's just more fuel for you to say, you know what? I can't give up now. I got too much to lose. And if I turn around, what I'm going to go back to, I can't go back there. Another reason why people fall when they on the way to success is they're not used to emotional decision making. They were never taught that. They're not used to making these emotional decisions. So they feel like, dang, let me not make the risky decision. Let me not bet on myself because I'm scared. Another reason why people fall is because they are too distracted. Another reason why people fall, guys, is because they're chasing comfort over growth. You're chasing comfort over growth. Because some people think that comfort means that you're growing. No. Comfort don't mean you're growing. Comfort means that you're comfortable and you're not growing. Because when you're growing, you're going to feel the pressure. That's why I say if you're in the season when the pressure keep hitting you, this is your growing season. You headed to the next level. Take that test and don't quit on the test. Don't turn around. Another reason why people fall is letting one bad week erase years of your vision. Some people will have one bad day, one bad week, now their whole dream is gone. Imagine Dr. Chief's Sunflower, a.k.a. Dr. Shon, being homeless after dental school in New York City, going into the Brooklyn hospital treating the patients, and me saying, you know what? I'm having a bad week. I done graduated, but you know what? This is too much for me. I'm too good to be homeless. I don't have the help. I had every excuse. Guess what? I wouldn't be here today. I could not let one bad season take away my years of vision. Some of us are fighting a bad season that keep getting worse and worse and worse. It might be an extended bad season, but guess what? You still can't quit. You still got to keep your vision right in front of you. Listen to people with no results. How many of us listen to people who don't have the results? Now you gonna fold because you listen to somebody who haven't even done what you're trying to do. Don't let people get in your ear who can't really help you. Sometimes the path is for you to forge. Sometimes it's for you to create the recipe. Sometimes the journey is something for you to develop the blueprint to. You can't use my blueprint. You can't use his blueprint. You got to use your own blueprint. And you're going to help somebody when you use your own blueprint. So some people are going to fall because right now housing is unstable. The stress from being creative goes away when you're in survival mode, panic mode. That's why if you stay consistent during these times of instability, you're going to be so much stronger. That's how you start to rebuild yourself mentally. When you know that nothing can break you mentally and that you got your vision ahead of you, I know you unstoppable. You stopping you, right? Now let's get into the signs that you're actually next, because I've talked about these kind of already, but we're going to keep reinforcing it because somebody out there is like, dang, I'm tired, I'm about to give up. I done talked to so many people lately who just ready to give up. That's why I made this live today, because sometimes I feel like, dang, this life is getting tough and tough. It's hard as hell. But this is a sign for none of us to give up, not for me to give up, not for you to give up, not for neither one of us to give up. Period. So the signs that you're next, number one, is you feel uncomfortable in your old life. If you in your old life and you feel uncomfortable, you like, dang, I keep trying. I got so much pressure. Guess what? This is a sign that you are next. When your spirit outgrows environments before your finances do, you start to feel uncomfortable. This is a sign that you're next. So don't fight the uncomfortability, because your spirit will know when it's time to move, because you're going to be like, dang, I'm just not happy. That's how I became a dentist, because I had a job that I absolutely hated. It felt like I was going to prison every day. And I was like, damn, I'm just not happy. I can't do this forever. But I didn't want to do the vision that I had because I felt it was too hard. And like I said, I had a 1% chance of making it and a 99% chance of failing. But listen, like I said, you got to bet on you all day. I don't give a damn if it's a 1% chance. You feel me? I still have a chance. That means I'm going to take it. Now, if they say 0% chance, then that's different. But as long as you got some type of chance, you will defy the odds. The number 2 signs that you are next is you're being forced to change. When you being forced to change and you have a lot of pressure, I have a lot of pressure in my life that's forcing me to make a decision that's very important. I'm having to make some difficult decisions that may be uncomfortable, but I'm used to making these type of decisions because I know that's the point in life where I need to pivot to the next level. I can't be afraid of it. When I graduated high school, I was afraid to go to college. When I graduated college, I was afraid to go to dental school. When I graduated dental school, I was afraid to work as a dentist. When I started working as a dentist, I was afraid to open a dental practice. When I opened a dental practice, I was afraid. The fear is always going to be there when you're making yourself uncomfortable, when you're doing something new, and when you're being forced to change, because you cannot stay the same. My thing is, you got to move because you're not a tree. Which one of us in here is a tree? Where the spot that we was planted, we have to stay here and grow. You don't have to be nowhere where you are spiritually unhappy. This is a job, this is a relationship, this is a city, this is anything. You got to fight the feeling of unhappiness and find your happiness that only you can find. Another sign that you're next in line is when you're in your isolation season. Sometimes growth requires you to separate from the noise. It requires you to isolate from the people who are not on the same path as you. There was once upon a time where I had friends and they were doing something different and I was doing something different, it felt a little lonely. It felt like you being isolated because guess what? I can't go out with y'all. I got to study all night. Who cares? Do what you have to do to get where you're trying to go. The number 4 sign that you are actually next in line is if you keep getting ideas and you don't act on those ideas, your ideas will get given to the next person. You be like, I was going to do that. I was going to start that. I was going to stream and do that. I was going to make that song. I was going to do this creation. I was going to create that content. I was going to start that business. That's not random. That's a sign. So don't sleep on your gifts. Don't sleep on your ideas. They might sound scary as hell, but still do it. Keep going and still do it. And you might even surprise yourself. And the last reason and sign that you're actually next is when your vision won't leave you alone. You like Michael Jackson, just leave me. And your vision just like, nope, I'm going to be right here till you fulfill your purpose. And even though you're unhappy, I'm going to stay right here until you pick up this idea and you start using it. Don't wait till next year when you got everything perfect. Start tomorrow, right? Because if your dream keep returning to you, that means it's attached to your purpose. So don't sleep on it. Now we're going to go into how people get tricked out their spot. We already talked about this already, but it's how people get tricked out of their spot. The number 1 way is being distracted by the news. Oh yeah, news right now is a big distraction for all of us. The news. I stopped watching, what was going on with the Strait of Hormuz because I feel like I was just, oh Lord, they finna bomb them. Oh Lord, they not. Oh, they got a piece. I got tired of it because I realized, oh, y'all just trying to distract me. Every day is something new. They made a 2-week deal. Oh, yeah, 48. I don't got time for that. That's distraction. Focus on yourself. If something happened that you need to know, you'll find out. Other distractions is drama. Family drama, internet drama, strolling by, celebrity drama. So much celebrity drama going on. I have to block that out too. Listen, I learned a long time ago when I was a fan of Mr. and Mr. LaTruth. I was a fan of theirs. I don't even know how I was just... They was on my timeline on Facebook all the time, and I started to get so locked in for some reason. And then, you know what happened? They broke up, and I was just like, what? I thought it was so... And I learned from that moment to never follow internet relationships and things like that too much, because these are real people. They break up, they make up. I don't want to be involved. So drama on the internet, off the internet, no, you're distracted. You getting tricked out your spot. Fear. We talked about that a lot. Arguments. Arguing with people, trolls. Now, a lot of people have internet dreams, but they are afraid of the trolls on this thing because the trolls are real. But the trolls might trick you out your spot because you're afraid they might say oh, Dr. Shon, they come on here, why you got on the do-rag? Shut up. You ain't finna trick me out my spot. I don't have to come on here looking dressed up all the time. I'm going to be me. If I dress up, that's on me, not because I'm trying to make the troll happy. Comparison. Y'all know that's the thief of the night. Comparing yourself to other people. All right? Another way that people get tricked out their spot is from emotional exhaustion. You get mental fatigue. You overthinking about it. You thinking that you need so much talent instead of just going. So before you even start, you just like, you know what, I just can't, I'm so fatigued. These are the people who have the excuses. They're very negative, pessimistic. They can't do it because of this, because of that, You just emotionally exhausted. I try to stay away from people who are emotionally exhausted because I'm a dreamer. I need people around me who are going to hype me up and tell me, yes, we got this, friend. I need big dreamers around me at all times because I'm a big dreamer and I'm going to believe in some shit that probably don't look like it can come true until I cross that stage. I'm going to believe in something that don't look like it is a possibility until it actually happened. Another way that people get tricked out their spot is waiting for the perfect conditions. When you come from hood to hooded, one thing you realize is you have to find that path from the hood to the hooded part, which means from your dream to the actual vision of your dream coming true. There is a lot of hard work, imperfections, and conditions that you have to go through and be the alchemist of your life to turn those bad things that you went through, the trauma that you faced, the ups, the downs, the highs, the lows into something that people can't even understand because you put together this path that most people wouldn't have taken, and you use those unfavorable conditions, you turn it into something. Perfect conditions rarely come first. So if you're waiting for perfect conditions to start your business, you're waiting for perfect conditions to make that leap of faith to switch jobs or to go back to school or to finish your degree or, I don't know, to go on a vacation or to do something on your bucket list. I don't know what it is for you, but the perfect conditions rarely come. And what happens is people realize, damn, I wasted 10 years working hard and I haven't done the things that make me happy. And then you get bitter, and guess what? That's the part where you get tricked out your spot because you're waiting for perfection. The last thing that we're going to talk about that people get tricked out of their spot is fear of looking crazy. People feel like they're going to be looking crazy. They tell somebody they dream they're going to be looking crazy. Look at me crazy. I don't give a damn. Because guess what? Every visionary has a path that looks unrealistic before the results show up. A lot of times I feel like I look crazy going live because my results aren't here yet. But I know that I'm building an audience. I know that I'm building a community of like-minded people who want to grow and learn and feed off of each other. So I have to keep showing up. Even on the days when I don't want to show up. Even the times when I need a little break. I'll take my little break, but I get back to it because there are some people who, like, dang, Dr. Shon, I needed to hear that. Because I be like that sometimes. I be needing to hear the positivity sometimes when they get a little dark. You need that sometimes. But don't feel like you're going to be looking crazy. Because to 80% of the people, you are going to be looking crazy when you be like, oh, this is the dream. This is what I'm going to do. And I don't care who believes me or not. You're going to be looking crazy. So don't fear that at all, right? Don't fear that. Currently, I am in the middle of closing one chapter. A very, sentimental chapter in my life. Where I was feeling trapped in this old setup that I had. I thought that this was the vision, but something happened where I said, no, I know I put a lot into this. I know I invested a lot into this, but now I got to change the trajectory. It just has to happen or my spirit won't be happy because I could be successful on the path that I am right now, but will I be spiritually successful? See, there's a big difference. Some people feel they're successful by society standards, but are you spiritually successful? That's what I want to know. So sometimes you got to close one chapter, open up another chapter so that your spirit can be happy, right? All of the fears that you have, you got to get through those. But you got to do this so your spirit can be happy. I have the emotional toll of being a doctor, carrying a lot on my shoulder, going through this re-strategizing process that I'm facing right now. I know that it has to be done so that my spirit can be happy. And I'm going to do whatever it takes so that I can have peace, serenity, and happiness. And I suggest you do the same. Don't be afraid. Ain't nothing to be afraid of. Sometimes you have to go through that vulnerable stage in life. Some of you guys think that you're buried. You think that you're buried into a lot of the trauma. You think you're buried into the overhead of life, I'll call it. What the overhead of life is, you got the bill, you got the kids, you got the job, you got all of these obligations. You feel buried, but really, if you redesign your thinking, you'll say, you know what, I'm planted. And there's a difference. You're not buried, you are planted. Meaning, if you continue to water this plant that's under the dirt, that's planted under the dirt, if you continue to allow it to get that sunlight, guess what? You're going to see something sprout. It doesn't happen instantly. It is a process. It is the biology of your dreams. The biology of my dreams says that when I plant my seed, I won't see the results. I won't reap the benefits of it. I won't be able to receive the harvest from it until I put in some work, until I have patience, until I have motivation, until I don't quit, until I disallow the trauma from my past to come to my future and hold me back, right? So there's a difference. When you feel buried under the ground, when you feel buried, this means that you are forgotten, kind of, sort of. It means that it's Out of sight, out of mind. You're not nurturing it. You're not giving it water. You're not investing into these goals that you have. But when you are planted, this is preparation for you before the growth. When you are planted. So just remember that. Now, if you made it to this part of the video, whether you're watching this live or you watching this on the replay, I want you to think about these questions. If you feeling like you next in line, everything keeps coming at you fast, and you feeling the pressure, that's a sign. Don't be like most people and be like, you know what, the pressure too much. I gotta get out the kitchen because it's too hot. Negative. Drink you a sip of water and get back in the kitchen. Are you going to keep going through your growing season? Are you going to keep glowing through your growing season? See, when you glow through your growing season, this means that I don't look like what I've been through, or I don't even look like what I'm going through right now. Because I know that mentally, I'm going to be somewhere different if I keep going. I know that mentally, this seed that I planted, eventually it's going to be a rose. It's going to be a garden if I keep going. Because I don't feel buried. Because people who feel buried under their bills, under their life, they give up. They quit. They throw in the towel. They feel defeated. They feel hopeless. It's just like, you can't tell them nothing. It's just over with for them. I ain't talking to you. I'm talking to the people who know that they next in line. They know that they chosen. And they know that, damn, why my fight so hard? It's because you special. The hardest fights are given to the strongest soldiers. I know that I was one of the strongest soldiers in line because my fight was hard as hell. But the reason why I'm here talking to you guys today is because even though the fight was hard, I ain't quit. I wanted to quit a couple times, probably more times than you could probably ever imagine. But I just didn't quit because if I quit, what I was going to have to go back to was way more terrifying than the vision that is before me. Right? So ask yourself these questions. And you don't have to answer it on the comments, but just ask yourself mentally, write it down, just think about it. After all the things that we have talked about, you being next in line, what almost made you quit recently? What's one thing that almost made you quit? What dreams keeps you returning to you? What keeps you going? Even after whatever made you quit, what dream keeps you going back to fighting this fight? Think about it. What is that dream? I know for me, every season my dream of why I'm fighting changes every season because I'll be in a season, right, and I'm fighting for a vision and then I'll accomplish the vision. Some people are like this, but then I have to create another dream and another vision and I'll accomplish that. And you got to keep going back to the drawing board, getting better and better, getting more skills, getting more, strength to get through those difficult times because one breakthrough is not that all that you're going to go through in life. You're going to go through breakthrough after breakthrough, setback after setback, this time after this time, this up, this down, and you just got to keep going, regardless. That's why it pays to just find what makes you happy spiritually, internally. A lot of times that doesn't come from money. That doesn't come from all these different things, even though, money makes it a lot easier, But spiritually, you have to be happy on the inside first. Another question is, have you ever noticed life gets harder before your breakthrough? Or am I just speaking this to myself? Or is anybody out there can vouch? Dr. Shon, you know what? I did notice that right before something great happened to me, I was going through the worst time ever. That's how it be. You'll be going through the worst shit ever. And then you'll get a breakthrough. Like, what? Okay, next question I want you to ask yourself is, what's the biggest distraction that you have right now in your life? What is it? Is it a person, a place, or a thing? Just answer that part first. Say, the biggest distraction I have in my life right now is this person. Or, the biggest distraction I have in my life right now is this place. Or, you can say the biggest distraction I have in my life right now is this thing. What is it? These are things that you got to get rid of. Just get from around these things, people, or places. Right? And the last one is, are you surviving right now? Or are you strategically rebuilding? See, me, I hate when I get to a place in life where I feel like I'm just surviving. If you feel like you just surviving, that means you have to flip the switch to strategically rebuild. This means that even though you might feel like you're in a survival stage, you change your mindset to say, I'm not just surviving, I'm actually growing. And I'm going through something difficult right now. So now I got to think about how can I strategically rebuild this phase that I'm in so that I come out different than what I planned before. Because many times life take you up and down and through there. You can't go through with the same path you was going through. You got to pivot. You got to adapt and keep building. Don't let temporary chaos in your life convince you that you need to abandon your purpose permanently. Maybe you need to just take a little break. Maybe you need to just go to the beach and walk, meditate, do something different, take a day off, take a week off, hell. But don't quit, right? Because most people quit right before your life changes. So if you've been quitting, your life hasn't changed yet, it's because you keep quitting. You keep getting tricked out your spot. That's what we're talking about. 99% of people, listen to this statistic. 99% of people gonna get tricked out their spot. They just gonna get tricked out their spot just from what they did on their own. It ain't because of some other person. It's because of you. Because you don't believe in yourself, right? It's all about how you speak affirmations to yourself. It's all about how you look at yourself in the mirror and you be like, you know what? I'm that girl or I'm that guy. You know, I'm gonna get through this. My ancestors are counting on me. I'm their wildest dreams. You know, my mom passed away when I was just a little girl, 7.5 years old. That ain't stopped me from living my dream. I was hurt as hell, traumatized as hell, but that was the fuel that I needed. Sometimes you turn your trauma into the fuel. You turn your trauma into the gasoline. Sometimes that's what you need to use that trauma, all of the anger that you feel, all of the people who let you down, all of the things that you went through in life when you was told no or denied, not, given opportunities. Guess what? This is the fuel that you need. Don't turn it into being a crybaby and a quitter, because that don't amount to nothing. Invest all of that trauma into your purpose. Invest that trauma that you feeling into your purpose, because somebody might need to hear your story. Somebody going through the same thing you going through and don't know how to survive and make it out. All right? So this live right here is for people who are trying to become mentally free, people who are trying to be financially free, people who are trying to break generational curses. We're not talking about history in this particular live, but y'all already know how history ties into you wanting to feel the need to quit. History, especially for my people, has been taught to break the spirit for most people. So if your spirit is broken, guess what? History has won. The ancestors crying because you gave up because you got your spirit broken. But if you keep your spirit strong, and you understand, you overstand that this temporary chaos is not about to allow me to abandon my purpose. It's just a little temporary storm. That's it. Life still must go on. Right? Now, what I will say to the young people out there is life is going to go on, but while life is going on, I need you to be learning how to do some type of skills, some trading, some getting into some real estate, getting into starting your business, getting into where you're not an employee, but you are owner, or getting into a point where you're doing something that you truly, truly love, even if you're not the owner, just doing you, regardless of what you're going through. That's what I need the young people to know.